Light No Fire is going to be a big release, and whether it lives up to the hype of its older brother is anyone's guess. But it's not just whether the game world will be empty the way No Man's Sky was or not that will dictate the success of Hello Games' newest project. The real test will be whether Light No Fire is its own new thing, or if it's just a No Man's Sky clone with a fantasy skin. No Man's Sky had a rough start, to say the least, but over the years it's become a niche survival hit with several updates that made the game way better than it was at launch. And by way better, I mean that it's still a messy beta. A coagulation of ideas and systems that overlap in weird, uncomfortable ways, like passengers on an airplane. But for the most part, it works, and can be a fun experience if you're looking for a space survival sim with simple questlines and characters in a game space that is bigger than it needs to be, if we're being honest. Then we look at the trailer for Light No Fire. It's immediately recognizable as a game that's similar to No Man's Sky, not only in appearance, but from the very limited glances we get of the systems that are in place. The great thing about that is that a lot of the systems in No Man's Sky are really engaging and fun to play with. The material crafting system is really in-depth, and refining items is a satisfying way to generate income, even if the UI is annoying and makes me want to pull my eyes out. The food crafting system has 862 recipes in total. The problem there is that there are multiple recipes for identical items. As an example, there are 36 ways to make smoked meat. This creates inventory bloat and inventory management issues that would normally be sifted through QA and adjusted before it was public, which supports the idea that No Man's Sky is just a big beta test. The ship upgrade system is a nice addition and change, allowing players to upgrade their favorite ships instead of spending days looking for an S-Class version of their favorite model ship at the local ship shop. I've recently been building my staff in the autophage questline, and building my own weapon like that is really rewarding. I just wish that Hello Games could have utilized this system for their normal multi-tool system, allowing players to make their own by changing and upgrading the tool we start with, and I especially hope a variation of this weapon crafting system exists in Light No Fire. My point with all of these examples is that there are a lot of great things in No Man's Sky that are going to make Light No Fire a lot of fun when those systems are polished before they're put into the game. But what kind of game will it be? Here's what Sean Murray said when he introduced Light No Fire.
For our new game, we wanted to create an Earth as varied, a planet that is as varied as a universe. Something with, mountains, real mountains, not video game mountains, but mountains that are miles high.
So is this like an open world planet kind of thing?
Yeah, the first real open world, something without boundaries. And we're gonna let everyone play in it together.
And here's what he said when he introduced No Man's Sky.
Yeah, it's a huge game. We wanted to make a game about exploration, and we wanted to make something that was real, right? In our game, when you stand on a planet and you see a mountain, and if that mountain is 3 miles away or wherever it is, and you can see it, you can walk there, right. And you can go and you can explore it.
Now, I like No Man's Sky just like the other 10,000 players on Steam, but not enough to buy a reskinned clone of the game. Light No Fire has to be a different experience than No Man's Sky in order to be successful, in my opinion. If exploration is the focus, building bases is going to lose its novelty when the planet becomes a pincushion full of map-based markers, or even worse, communication notes from all the other players on the planet. In that same vein, if a player comes across the base of another player, what systems are in place to prevent the original base from being vandalized or entrances being blocked or otherwise being trolled by other passerby players? This is a concern because No Man's Sky players are used to being able to turn multiplayer off and can explore the universe in relative peace. Will that be an option in Light No Fire? Or will the world be permanently multiplayer? Then, if it's multiplayer, what role will PvP play in the game? Resource gathering is a thing, judging from the character chopping wood and the buildings being built with stone, but what about resources from other biomes? How long will it take players to travel to the opposite side of the planet to gather a rare material, or will they implement a teleport system to assist with that? At that point, what happens when there are teleporters all over the planet and exploration becomes less of a focus? What incentives will drive players to explore the world? PAX Day is an MMO that I'm keeping a very close eye on, with a very similar setup to Light No Fire. and I think a lot of comparisons can be drawn from their intent. PAX Day uses resource gathering and crafting to drive exploration in their world. It's a set size and hand-built for the most part, so ground mounts will be what players use to traverse the expansive terrain. Light No Fire is procedurally generated and it's an entire planet, but to what degree we don't know. We don't know how big this thing's going to be. Maybe they generate the world and then adjust the points of interest all over the place for players to find and explore. If that's the case, the odds of players simply flying over hidden caves or dungeons will be pretty high and will make those areas exceedingly rare, even more so than the giant monoliths that were highlighted in the trailer. I know I'm not the only one with so many questions about Light No Fire, and even though I'm really excited to see exactly what this game is, if Hello Games doesn't release an in-depth reveal for the game along with actual extended gameplay, I'll probably just wait until after streamers show the game off before I buy it myself. I think we all learned our lesson from the No Man's Sky hype cycle and subsequent launch, so many of us will keep an eye on their new game with wary anticipation. But if Sean wants to hook a coconut up with a sneak peek into the game, I'm not gonna complain. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. You're welcome.